Steve Mills here. I've got 6 reasons for you on this video why you should pick up the phone, and also the reasons why people don't. If you ask me, what's the best way of winning business right now, even in this modern digital world, which is fantastic, don't get me wrong, it's picking up the phone. It's the missing ingredient, the one thing that people don't do. People get a lead on LinkedIn and they don't follow it up. They get click-throughs on their email. So they send out an email to 10,000 people and 500 of them click through to their website. So they're interested at some level in the product or service, and they never get a follow-up, they never get a call, and this is a real big problem. So I've written them down, so if I just look down for a second, you'll understand why. So number 1 is people think there's a better way. They think, well, if we do Google advertising, or if we do SEO and so on and so forth. And as again, I want to be really clear. You should be doing those things, but that doesn't make up for picking up the phone. Picking up the phone is where you're going to win business. The more people you speak to, the more business you're going to win. The more people you meet. It says behind me, people buy from people who they know, like, and trust. And there's nothing better than speaking to people to get people to do that. So there isn't a better way. You can't avoid it. You got to do it. That's basically what I'm saying here. So number 2 is people don't value their own time. They say to me things like, well, it's always better to get yourself in front of people, to go and meet them. And they're absolutely right. It's better to meet somebody than it is to speak to them on the phone. It's better probably in this day and age to speak to somebody on Zoom than it is to speak to them on the phone. But how many more people can you speak to on the phone than you can in a meeting? I go zooming across town to go and meet somebody who may or may not be available, or that meeting, I could get stuck in traffic. I could get there and the guy's forgotten about the meeting, and so on and so forth. And then when I get home at night, they say, how did your day go? And I go, oh, it's been a disaster. I spent hours and hours wasted, stuck in traffic, drove all the way to XYZ, and the person wasn't even there. What a nightmare. Instead, I could get myself on the phone and make calls. That's the objective. That's what I want you to do. The next one is really your upbringing. We're often brought up to go, I hear things all the time like, well, I don't want to pester people. Why not? Why don't you want to pester people? Obviously in an appropriate way, but certainly in a lot more than most people do. Most people don't ever follow up. How many times have you applied, you've emailed somebody, you've asked them to give you a ring, and they don't blooming well do it. So impose yourself. Make those calls. Get on the phone. Speak to people. I never get on the phone without getting off the phone with a action going forward. When somebody says to me, well, right now, Steve, now's not a good time. I'll say, okay, no problem. Tell me, when would be a good time? They say, well, give us a call in a month. I go, right, okay. How about the 14th of July at 1 o'clock? Or maybe the 14th of August, because I'm recording this in July. That was a bit of a weird thing to say, but you get the idea. So rather than, I'll give you a call in a month, I'll give you a call on this date at this time, and then nail it into the diary. So this is not oh, did I? They're expecting your call. Much different, okay? Number 4, you hate rejection. And I'll tell you what, you're going to get rejected. People are going to be busy. People are going to be nice to you by saying things like, give me a call back. What they sometimes will mean is basically sod off and don't bother me. But, you just got to get over that. If you want to win more business, if you're serious about doing so, you've just got to handle rejection, because it's going to happen. But the good news is the more rejection you get, the more sales you're going to win. And for me, that's very, very worthwhile. You'd rather spend the money on advertising. Here's an interesting one. As a marketer myself, as someone who spends money on Facebook advertising, Google advertising, and so on and so forth, I still believe it's important for you and your business to spend time, money, and effort on the phone following up. So you could be doing Google advertising, getting people to go to your website to download a free report on XYZ, and then you're calling people who are actually at some level interested in what you do. That's really what you want to try to achieve. Sometimes, number 6, someone's convinced you in the past that this doesn't work. Cold calling doesn't work. It's difficult right now. Everybody's working from home, so it's more difficult. And to some level, that it's true. It's the summer holidays. It's coming up to Christmas. It's Friday. Nobody will answer the phone on a Friday. It's 4 o'clock, and so it's too late. Do you know what they are? They're total and utter BS. Actually, that's not quite true. It's not totally untrue, but they're not reasons to not make the call. Does that make sense? Actually, if you think about it, if Fridays is a day when people don't call, then perhaps that's a good time for you to make a call, because they're not getting loads of calls that particular day. Does that make sense? I really hope it does. So they're my 6 reasons why people put it off. And again, I just revert back to what I said earlier. Pick up the phone and you will make money. You'll make more money by doing more calls. If you're doing 20 calls a day and you doubled it to 40 calls a day, potentially you'd make more money. Get rid of that negative idea that this is not a good idea. It is. You've got to get on the phone. And then, of course, you got to get things right. Who you're calling, what you're saying, how you're saying it, how you're overcoming objections. And, if I asked you, like say right now, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being awful and 10 being a true professional, one of the top people in the field, how good would you be at making prospecting calls on the phone? And if that's not like at least an 8, then you've got an area of focus. You need to raise your standard. How do you deal with objections? How do you get past the receptionist? How do you present your products? What are the questions that you ask? What's your tone of voice like when you're on the phone? What's your conversion rate from call to meeting? Or perhaps you're making sales on the phone. Again, what's your conversion rate like there? So I hope I've given you some food for thought there. I hope I've convinced you to get on the phone. I hope you make a load of more money from it. And I hope you'll maybe get in touch with me so I can help you further. I've been helping businesses to literally make millions, not all of them. Startups, we often target, how can we get you to 6 figures, to £100,000 in 6 months. Other bigger businesses, an appropriate improvement. And if you want to book an initial meeting with me, then all you need to do is to go to steve-mills, that's MILLS.com, and get yourself signed up. So that's it. Thanks very much for listening, and look forward to sharing with you some more tried, tested and proven ways. By the way, subscribe to my YouTube channel. You get all my tips, and don't forget to click the little bell so you get updated whenever I add a new video. And you might also want to sign up on my website for our tips and tricks, and perhaps follow me on LinkedIn as well. So Steve Mills, and look forward to speaking soon. Thank you.